Please remain standing as we take the national anthem, first stanza, followed by the and purpose-driven Vice Chancellor, the Organete of Iyayi, very distinguished. Please clap if you want to clap. So I'm thank you. Thank you very much. The very distinguished Professor Chief Lillian Imwetiya Salami. Other principal officers of our great university, the provost, deans and directors, professors emeriti, other esteemed professors and erudite scholars here present, Your Excellencies, top government functionaries, the Royal Highnesses, family and friends of the lecturer, greatest Univen staff and students, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 270th inaugural lecture series of the University of Benin. The lecture is to be delivered by the quintessential Professor Matilda Iyayi Ikhatua, a professor of plant pathology and mycology. And the topic is that the forest may be well, the input of the plant pathologist. May I, at this juncture, invite the Registrar of the University, Mr. Ademola Bobola, to introduce the Vice Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor's procession. Mr. Registrar.
Madam Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all other courtesies duly extended. It is my singular honor and privilege to present to this distinguished audience the #1 citizen of campus, a distinguished woman of substance, a reputable academic, a foremost nutritionist, the a professor of Pathology, Professor Iyayi. We have with us someone who has been chasing money and most of the time is not around, but today I'm sure he has brought plenty of money because of the inaugural lecturer's lineage. Dr. Victor Iyayi is a professor of this university. The custodian of our books and academic publications, Professor Pathology, a very distinguished provost of a very reputable College of Medical Sciences, Professor Wilson Sado. Professor Kebe is the Dean Postgraduate Studies, has some assignment outside this area and is ably represented here by Dr. S.A. Aliu, Assistant Dean. Professor Inaugural, who is the Dean of Students, is present today, maybe because the struggle is down today. Dean of Struggle, Dean of Students, I wouldn't want to add Dean of Stress, but that has been addressed. Dr. Peter Akere is standing in for the Dean Faculty of Agriculture and is regularly Pathology, and of course, a very high one in the park, Director, Center of Excellence, being funded by Tedford, Professor O.G. Apolaga. Professor Mrs. Ikora is Director, Research Laboratory at this university. Professor Iyayi is the director of our JUPEP program. Professor Mrs. Ngozi Onoibe is the director of Quality Assurance. Professor Edi Ragwe is the director of our very distinguished University Advancement Office. Dr. Nwaneri is the acting director Institute of Child Health. And of course, we have Dr. Mrs. O.N. Iyayi is the acting director Student Guidance and Counseling. Leading the pack as we're coming is the deputy registrar in Senate Matters, Mr. Monday Ogwe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the inaugural lecturer today is very distinguished in many respects. I don't want to mention that the husband is also a distinguished professor, and so many other things happening. But I have the privilege of inviting my advisors to address this audience and tell us more about the inaugural lecture.
Good afternoon. I'm a student. You didn't applaud me when I came. In the inaugural lecture series of the great University of Benin. Today's lecture is the 42nd to be delivered in my tenure as the Vice Chancellor. The 12th in the Faculty of Agri and the second in the Department of Forestry, Resources and Environment Management. I am pleased to inform this audience that the registration for the new student is ongoing. Both new and old students are fully settled down for the 2021-2022 academic session. I want to use this opportunity to thank all of you and to solicit for the cooperation of all stakeholders in ensuring the successful completion of the academic session. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our lecturer for today. She is Professor Mrs. Matilda. The title of our lecture is That the Forest May Be Well, the Input of the Plant Pathologist. Professor Mrs. Matilda Iyayi Ikhatua was born in Inaugural, Yobe State on 29th June 1956 to the family of late Pa Albert Isume Ahiri and Mama Catherine Ahiri of Irua, Edo State. She had her primary school education at St. Paul's Primary School, Otisco, Yobe State, and completed it at St. Philomena's Primary School, Uromi, Edo State in 1967 due to the Nigerian Civil War. She attended Our Ladies of Lord's Girls Grammar School, Uromi, Edo State, where she had her West African School Certificate in Division 2 in 1972. She thereafter proceeded to Lydia College, Benin City for a one-year higher school certificate, HSC,
which she completed in 1974. She was admitted into the University of Ibadan to study botany in 1975 and graduated with a bachelor's degree in botany in 1979. Professor Mrs. Ikhatua obtained a master's degree in crop production from Ahmadu Bello University Zaria in 1987 and her PhD degree in plant pathogenic microbiology from the University of Benin in 1997. She joined the services of the University of Benin as Tutor 1 at the University Demonstration School in 1986 and was later converted to the position of Lecturer 2 in the Department of Forestry and Wildlife Management of the same university in November 1990. She rose through the ranks to the position of a full professor in October 2013. Her primary research focus is in the area of infectious disease in plants. Professor Mrs. Ikhatua has held several administrative positions within and outside the University of Benin. Some we had to select, otherwise we'll be giving another inaugural lecture. Acting Head, Department of Forestry and Wildlife, University of Benin. Congregation Representative to the Staff Housing Loans Committee. Senate Representative to the Institute of Public Administration and Extension Services Board of Management. Faculty Rep to the University Part-Time Program Committee. Faculty Rep, University Management Committee of the Center of Gender Studies and Chairman of the University of Benin Enterprises Campus Services Committee from 2016 to 2019. Professor Mrs. Ikhatua is the recipient of several awards from St. Albert's Catholic Church, University of Benin, Ubawa, Benin City, where she worships. She's also a recipient of several other awards such as Midwest Regional Government Scholarship for Higher School, Federal Government Scholarship Award for Postgraduates, World Bank Associated Staff Development Program at the University College of North Wales in the UK. She was voted the best lecturer in the Department of Forestry and Wildlife in 2006 by student assessment of their lecturers. She also holds an award of excellence by the National Youth Service Corps University of Benin chapter in recognition of her active support to humanity in 2014. She also holds an award of honor by the ASA Forum Uniben UPTH, an appointment as Professor of Plant Pathology and MycOlogy, University of Benin, Benin City. She has also served as external examiner to several universities and has over 34 publications in local, national, and international journals. She has attended over 15 conferences and has supervised over 6 postgraduate thesis. Professor Mrs. Ikhatua belongs to several professional bodies and associations, such as member, Forestry Association of Nigeria, member, the Nigerian Field, member, Nigerian MycOlogical Society, and Botanical Association of Nigeria, BOSON. Professor Mrs. Ikhatua has passion for singing and dancing. She's married to Professor Uma Julius Ikhatua, and their marriage is blessed with 4 wonderful children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite to the podium Professor Mrs. Matilda Iyayi, a professor of pathology.
Madam Vice Chancellor, ma'am, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Madam Vice Chancellor, I am grateful to God for His amazing grace that has brought me this far on the academic ladder as the first professor in the Department of Forestry, Forest Resources and Wildlife Management. This grace has led me to deliver the second inaugural lecture in the department, 12th in the Faculty of Agriculture, and 270th in the series of the University of Benin. I am most grateful to you, Madam Vice Chancellor, and members of your team for giving me the opportunity to deliver this lecture titled "That the Forest May Be Well, the Input of the Plant Pathologist." It will be necessary to briefly look at the key words of the inaugural topic. Forest is basically defined as an area of land predominantly covered with trees and may be natural or man-made. Its products may be timber and non-timber products. To be well, the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary defines it as being in good, right or acceptable way. For the purpose of this lecture, the right acceptable way for the forest is for it to be healthy. Input, the knowledge, time, ideas put into a project or work to make it succeed. Plant pathologist, a plant doctor in the field of plant pathology, which is a science that tries to increase our knowledge about plant diseases, as well as develop methods, equipment, and materials through which plant diseases can be avoided or controlled. Concept of plant disease. The plant is healthy or normal when it can carry out its physiological functions to the best of its genetic potential. Any deviation from the above due to interference by pathogenic organism or adverse environmental factor results in disease, and these results in adverse changes in form, function, or integrity of the plant, and may lead to partial impairment or death of plant parts or the entire plant. Figure 1 there shows the healthy parts of the plant to the left, and to the right you have the diseased parts. NTFPs, which stand for non-timber forest products, comprise products other than timber. These could be plant parts used for food, medicine, construction, materials, handcraft, fuels, fodder. As a result of the significance of the forest and its products and the consequences of disease, the forest must be well. Madam Vice Chancellor, my works, which were mycology based, span through the identification of fungi associated with the leaves, stems, fruits, and seeds of species, either as pathogens or sacrifice, in seeking control measures for such diseases. I would work in the savanna zone on the diseases of mango, an agroforestry species important for its fruits and vegetative parts. The interest to also look into diseases of non-timber forest products within the forest zone was rekindled. Madam Vice Chancellor, mycology is the study of fungi, and fungi are organisms that have their vegetative structures as thread-like structures. Madam Vice Chancellor, if you keep your bread and it gets spoiled, you can see some cotton wool-like growth there. Those would be the vegetative parts of the fungi. Studies on mango included fungi associated with vegetative parts of the mango in some northern states. 31 fungal isolates were obtained, and of these, 25 were recorded for the first time from mango in Nigeria. These isolates have been stored at the Commonwealth Mycological Institute, England, with the various identification numbers of the institute. Now, of the In 25, you have Cercospora api there, being the first true isolate of Cercospora from mango. Ikhatua and Erile, 1992. Diseases of mangoes. This study was undertaken to identify the most important diseases of 10 mango cultivars in the northern states. The study described 31 new diseases in addition to the 5 that we already listed. The most economically important diseases were leaf and fruit anthracnose induced by Polytotrichum gloeoporoides, and this isolate was confirmed by CMI and given its number. We have twig lice induced by Botrytis rumen and stem end drops of fruits caused by Phoma semina and Cystospora mellifera. Study increased the scope of diseases affecting the species in worthy of note with 7 new records of the 25 diseases. Ikhatua and Erile, 1996. Thank you very much. A series of studies on non-timber forest products in the forest zone showed the following. Studies on pulp fruits, important for local consumption, medicinal uses, and a source of foreign exchange earnings. The incidence of post-harvest anthracnose disease was undertaken to identify this pathogen in Benin City. Anthracnose caused by Polytotrichum gloeoporoides was found to be the most prevalent post-harvest disease, and these have been stored at the CMI. Report on the levels of rots of purple fruits was the first of its kind in Nigeria. Ikhatua and Iyayi, 1999. Now, look at plate 1. That first fruit is a healthy fruit, and those fruits are disease fruits with anthracnose, sunken lesions with the pinkish spores within them. Response of Polytotrichum gloeoporoides to different agar media. Growth response. A study was conducted to determine the favorable media for mycelial production of 5 single-spore isolates of C. gloeoporoides. 8 standard and 4 non-standard media were tested. Oatmeal, rye, and lima bean agar were most favorable for growth of all isolates, while the non-standard media generally enhanced the growth. Was the first of such observations for C. gloeoporoides. The variability in cultural and morphological characteristics provide more taxonomic information on the genus, known for diverse morphological variability in which taxonomy has been of concern over the years. Ikhatua and Iyayi, 1999. Sporulation response. This study reported on some suitable media for reproduction of spores in C. gloeoporoides on standard and non-standard media. Oatmeal agar ranked best to other media for efficient conidia production, while lima bean agar was most effective in the Savulus production. Contribution to knowledge. The efficiency of oatmeal and lima bean agar in the production of the savuli and conidia of C. gloeoporoides from purple is important information if the species is ever considered as a biological control agent, as a mycopesticide. Ikhatua and Iyayi, 1999. If Epidemiological study. This study was undertaken to assess the temperature and light requirements for growth of two most virulent isolates of Cyclosporides, with a view of applying the results within the post-harvest environment for the control of anthracnose on purple fruits. For both isolates, varying degrees of growth were supported at temperatures between 15 to 30 degrees centigrade, while temperatures of 5, 10, and 35 supported no growth. Growth was also significantly more in the dark than on the light. Contribution to knowledge. Poor growth of isolates at temperatures below 15 degrees centigrade suggests that the fungus could cause practical problems only during warm weather conditions. Growth enhancement under darkness showed that physiological processes associated with growth of the pathogen were depressed under light. Results obtained are valuable information for the management of anthracnose disease on purple fruits. However, prolonged fruit storage at low temperatures could be avoided to prevent chilling injury. Ikhatua and Anyanwu, 2001. Plate 2 and 3A, plate 2 shows the strains growing under the different temperature regimes, and plate 3 shows growth under light and growth under darkness. And you see that the growth is more under darkness. Characterization of the species. With little information on the polytrotrican species from pawpaw in Nigeria, a study was conducted to characterize the species' pathogenic features. Culturally, there were variations in colony colors, growth, and nature of conidial matter. Morphologically, the nature of conidial matter on fruit surfaces were similar to those in culture. When we look at that plate, you find that these two isolates are growing on the fruit surfaces without seti, and the seti are hair-like structures. Now, for these other strains, they had seti. The conidia were one cell, mostly hyaline, and varied in shapes and sizes. They were significantly different in breadth, but not in length, as we can see from table 2 there. Pathogenic characteristics. The isolates varied in virulence. Some of them developed typical anthracnose lesions on both wounded and intact fruit surfaces, while others produced atypical symptoms only on wounded surfaces. Contribution to knowledge. Variations in the cultural, morphological, and pathogenic characteristics of the species provided evidence that the species of pawpaw fruits is polymorphic and made up of strains. Ikhatua and Anyanwu, 2006. Madam Vice Chancellor, we now went on to look at studies on Iyayi species. Iyayi is the ogbono fruit. Of the non-timber forest products, Iyayi is one of the indigenous fruit trees with multiple uses and generates a high cash income in and outside Nigeria. Two varieties of Iyayi are found in Nigeria. They are the I. gabonensis with the sweet and edible pulp, and the I. wongolu with the bitter and inedible pulp. The studies included fruit and seed pathology, post-harvest fruit rot. A study of post-harvest diseases of fruits of I. gabonensis was conducted in 3 major markets within the Benin metropolis. Rods with characteristic brown to black sunken lesions were the most prevalent. The rod organism was identified as Polytotricum gliosporoides. Irrespective of the sources of fruits to the markets, incidence of the disease was similar. Ikhatua and Okanwa, 2001. Pre-harvest fruit rot. Pathological studies were conducted on diseased fruits from standing trees in the forestry arboretum on the Igbo campus. 2 fungal species, Botrodiplodia and Pestalozia species, were associated with the lesions on fruits and leaves. Both fungi were pathogenic, with Botrodiplodia being more virulent than Pestalozia species. Plate 5 shows the symptoms on the fruits and the leaves of the species, and plate 6 shows that a healthy fruit and you find the diseased fruits, and plate 7 shows the pathogenicity results, showing the middle one there as Botrodiplodia being more virulent than Pestalozia species. Studies showed Botrodiplodia and Pestalozia species as pre-harvest pathogens of Iyayi gabonensis, with Pestalozia species as a weak pathogen. Ikhatua et al. 2013. Mycoflora of Iyayi seeds. Study investigated the mycoflora of discolored seeds obtained from displayed seeds for sale in some markets in Benin City. The most predominant isolate from seeds of both species was Aspergillus fumigatus, with an incidence of 100% on I. gabonensis and 88% on I. wombulu. In addition to the usually associated fungi, Aspergillus and Penicillium, with contamination of seeds in storage, this report has Aspergillus and Pestalozia species as storage fungi of Iyayi seeds. Ikhatua and Asa 2006. Now looking at this plate, those are the discolored seeds from the market. On the extreme right are the healthy seeds of the kernel. Madam Vice Chancellor, ma'am, having identified isolates from discolored Iyayi seeds, this study was conducted to identify the organism of spoilage and its subsequent effect on the nutritive value of the kernels. Aspergillus fumigatus was confirmed the pathogen of spoilage of the kernels. For nutrition and studies, healthy kernels of I. wombulu have significantly higher values of crude protein, ash, and nitrogen-free extract than in I. gabonensis, while the fat value of I. gabonensis was higher than that in I. wombulu. Results follow similar patterns with the spoiled kernels of both species. The 10 there shows the inoculated kernels and showing the symptoms of spoilage, and these are the control kernels. Higher values of crude protein, ash, and nitrogen-free content of I. wombulu may account for the higher draw ability, that is the viscous palatability of kernels when prepared as soups. Madam Vice Chancellor, if you cook Iyayi gabonensis and cook Iyayi wombulu as soups, Iyayi wombulu draws more than Iyayi gabonensis because of the fact. Thank you. Kernels of I. wombulu remain more nutritive even in spoilage than those of I. gabonensis, and thus have a better prospect of increased shelf life. Ikhatua et al. 2010. Contribution to knowledge. Polytotrichum gosporoides was seedling pathology. Pathological studies were conducted on the leaf blight of Iyayi gabonensis seedlings in private nurseries from 3 local government areas. Incidence of the disease was highest in Ikhatua. In contrast to numerous reports on the ethno-medicinal and pharmaceutical uses of I-gabanensis and I-1bolu as secondary metabolites, especially fatty acids, as well as their anti-obesity and other possible applications in phytotherapy, there was paucity of data on the essential oil composition of the seeds of the species. A study was thus conducted to explore and determine if there were differences in the essential oil composition of the species. Seeds of both species were obtained from processed stones of fruits harvested from standing trees in Ujawali, Iwa, in eastern central local government area of Edo State. A total of 12 and 10 constituents were identified from I-gabanensis and I-1bolu respectively. 7 constituents were common to both species. Contribution to knowledge. The presence of ZZ912-octadecadenoic acid in I-1bolu is noteworthy because this acid, considered an essential fatty acid, is a precursor of prostaglandins 1 and 2, which are involved in dealing with injury and illness. Ikhatua and Pathology, 2012. Madam Vice Chancellor, studies on other NTFP species. The Produce edris, which is the ube in Igbo and the oum in Isha. It plays an important role both in household consumption and as a source of income. A study was conducted to determine the incidence of the galling disease on the fruit mesocarp and identify its pathogen. A survey of the disease incidence across 3 markets showed that 65.8% of the total fruit samples were infected. 2 fungal isolates were characteristically associated with the disease. These were Brachysporum species and an unidentified black isolate. Brachysporum species was confirmed pathogen of the disease. Contribution to knowledge. Study provided information on the facultative nature of Brachysporum species, which is usually found as a saprophyte on rotten barks of wood. All previous works reported on soft rot spoilage of the fruits, while this study has shed light on a dry rot with its unique symptom not hitherto reported. Ikhatua and KK 2011. There to the left we find the healthy fruit and we find the diseased fruits with the galling symptom. Cross-infectivity studies on herbaceous fruits. In Nigeria, with the exception of apples, which are imported, pawpaws, African pear, avocados, and bush mangoes are mainly cultivated in home gardens. In view of the importance of a ready source of inoculum and its implication in the post-harvest environment of fruits, the cross-infectivity of the galling pathogen and its associated isolate on fruits was conducted. The test fruits were avocado, pawpaw, apples, green and red varieties, and bush mangoes. Contribution to knowledge. Findings are very informative within the agroforestry system, with a continuous build-up of inoculum on home gardens and orchards. Cross-infectivity indication may be controlled by growing various crops with different fruiting patterns together. This will enhance the disease escape of fruits. For example, while the produce species is fruiting in season, the other species will be off-season, and so inoculum transfer will be prevented. Ikhatua and Owa 2012. Pre-harvest spoilage of avocado fruits. In view of the high incidence of fruit spoilage on the trees, with its attendant consequence on yield and post-harvest storage, a study was undertaken to identify the pathogen of spoilage on the Boer campus. Polytotrichum species and an unidentified fungal isolate were associated with the disease, and Polytotrichum species was confirmed as pathogen of spoilage. Contribution to knowledge. It showed that Polytotrichum species is a pathogen of pre-harvest spoilage of avocado fruits, which could reduce the shelf life of fruits at post-harvest. Ikhatua et al. 2013. Plates 12 and 13, place 12 showing the healthy fruits, the diseased fruits to the right, and the results of pathogenicity testing. Rot of Gambia albida and nutrient composition. Gambia albida, Madam Vice Chancellor, is the agbalumo in Yoruba, the Udala in Igbo, and the Otien in Benin. The study was conducted to investigate the pathogens of spoilage and its effect on the nutrient composition of the fruits. Both Diplodia species was the only isolate from diseased fruits, irrespective of the markets and sources of fruits to the markets, and was also confirmed the pathogen of spoilage. Contribution to knowledge. Although there were no significant differences between healthy and diseased fruits in all but nitrogen-free extract, the increase in the ash content and crude protein of infected fruits is worthy of note. Increase in crude protein content could be due to proteolysis of fruit protein catalyzed by fungal enzymes or from the presence of worms, which are proteinous in nature. Ikhatua et al. 2014. Mycoflora of Jatropha fruits and seeds. Jatropha is one of the multi-purpose plant species important as a renewable resource for both fuel and chemical industries. This study was undertaken to investigate the fungi associated with the fruits and seeds of the Jatropha species and its related species, Ricinus communis. Plates 15 to 18 show the morphological characteristics of the different species. Polytotrichum species was commonly associated with spoiled J-carpus fruits, Fusarium and Fusoma species with Jatropha seeds, Fusarium and Cornularia species with seeds of Ricinus communis. Polytotrichum species was pathogenic on fruits of J-carpus, J. gossipifolia and Ricinus communis, but was non-pathogenic on J. multifida. Contribution to knowledge. Studies showed that Polytotrichum species has pathogen of fruit spoilage and its cross-infectivity potential on other and related species, with J. multifida resistant to the pathogen. Being a promising crop on biodiesel production, the common presence of Fusarium species on the seeds may have implication on its storage and oil quality. Ikhatua and Ikhatua 2011. Contribution of women to conservation of NTFPs. This study was conducted to assess the contribution of women towards the conservation, sourcing, protection, and propagation of NTFPs in Delta State of Nigeria. The results showed that women are involved in NTFP conservation in Delta State. Sourcing of NTFP is both in situ and ex situ, and the most commonly propagated NTFP in Delta State is the oil palm. Apathy, Ikhatua, and Ikhatua 2013. Study on the timber species. Terminaria alvarensis, the black afara, is an indigenous species which is a good source of timber for wood construction. For medicinal purposes, its bark preparation is used to treat wounds, while its bark pulp reduces rheumatic muscle pain. The juice of the leaves and bark decoctions are taken to treat gonorrhea and kidney pain. Park 2005. In view of the high incidence of galls on the leaves of saplings around the faculty, the study investigated the fungi associated with the galls. 2 fungal isolates identified as Botrodiploida and Popularia species were associated with the galls. The isolates were not pathogenic, but were likely saprophytes. Results confirmed previous results of the facultative and opportunistic nature of both species associated with the galls. Ikhatua and Iyayi 2013. Plate 19 there shows to the left they are diseased. The disease leaves with the galls just like craw on the body, and then you have the clean, healthy leaves to the right. Madam Vice Chancellor, we embarked on some control studies. These consisted of chemical and biocontrol studies. Fungicidal control of anthracnose on purple fruits. Study was conducted to evaluate the in vitro sensitivity of 2 virulent strains of Polytotrichum gloeoporoides to some fungicides. Inhibitory effects were on mycelial growth and conidial germination. The fungicides had varied inhibitory effects on the mycelial growth and on conidial germination. Contribution to knowledge. Prochlorus was found to be a promising fungicide for the control of C. gloeoporoides on purple fruits, as it was inhibitory to mycelial growth and conidial germination of the pathogen. Ikhatua and Iyayi 2001. Now you have that plate there showing the 2 strains that were growing on amended media with the various fungicides. Biocontrol studies. The safety of food and feed for human and animal consumption is topmost priority with regards to the regulation of agricultural and food industries. Thus, the shift from synthetic pesticides to safer alternatives made it necessary to look into natural products as potential alternatives. And so we have for the toxicity of some local spices on Aspergillus fumigatus, the spoilage organism of the Ivingia canis. The study investigated the inhibitory effect of some local and commonly used spices for our pepper soup on the mycelial growth of the spoilage organism. Piper which is the Uziza in Igbo and the Usira in Ishan, had the least radial growth and highest inhibitory effect on the fungus, followed by Zingiber officinale, which is ginger, the white and red varieties. Now, the red variety was found to be most potent than the white variety. Ikhatua and Apalauka 2008. Plate 21 there shows all the different spices we use for pepper soup. Madam Vice Chancellor, having obtained some positive inhibitory effects, more of the spices were screened for their fungistic effects on the growth of the fungus. Xylopia aetiopica was most inhibitory on the growth of the pathogen, which is fruit pericarp more effective than fruit pericarp and seeds. Madam Vice Chancellor, when we want to cook pepper soup, the onion and use the outer part, which is the pericarp. Now we found that was more potent than the pericarp and the seeds together. Findings have broadened the range of spices that can be used to control the pathogen on the kernels of Ivingia species. Ikhatua and Aga 2008. On conidial germination, the same spices were used to check on their effect on the conidial germination. Alum sativum, which is garlic, and Xylopia aetiopica, the fruit pericarp, and Zingiber officinale, and Afromomium eleguata were most effective in inhibiting ponidia germination. Initial germination increased significantly with increased concentration of spices. Contribution. Study further confirmed the fungi-toxic potentials of spices on the pathogen of Iyayi kernel spoilage. Fungistatic effect and subsequent mycelial development by the species would increase the latent period of the fungus, thus reducing the amount of spores in the vicinity of stored kernels which could be inhaled by humans. Ikhatua et al. 2008. Fungal toxicity of plants and spices on Fusarium oxysporum. Studies in vitro were aimed at identifying plants and spices that may be used in the preparation of extracts for the control of Fusarium oxysporum, the wilt pathogen on tomato. The plants and spices were screened in two groups. Group 1 screened Xylopia ethiopica, Afromoma meneguata, Zingiber officinale white, Piper venensis, and Chrysobalinus Ikhatua. Contribution to knowledge. Study identified A. meneguata and P. guinensis as potential natural sources for the control of the pathogen. Adekunle, Ikhatua, Onofwa, and Rapatobo, 2009. Group 2, thank you. Group 2 studies screened plants and spices where Osimum gratissimum, Garcinia cola, Cyzogum aromaticum, Onodora myristica, and Afromodum stepchum. The study identified S. aromaticum as a reservoir of natural fungicide which could be formulated for the control of the pathogen. Adekunle and Ikhatua 2012. Screening of some weeds and plants for fungi-toxic effect. The first to be screened was the weed Philanthus amarus. Study was conducted to investigate the inhibitory effect of the weed on the spoilage organisms, that is the pre-harvest spoilage organisms of Iyayi carbonensis and Persia americana, that is Botryoidiploida species on I. carbonensis and Polytotrichum species and the unidentified fungus on avocado. The weed had no inhibitory effect on the pathogens of Iyayi, but significantly had effect on the anthracnose pathogen, that is the Polytotrichum and the unidentified fungus on avocado. The aerial parts of the plant were as potent as the whole plant. Now that is the upper surface of that plant, Philanthus amarus, and you have that plant, the undersurface, having fruits on the undersurface. Contribution to knowledge. The weed looks promising on the control of anthracnose on avocado fruits. Its inhibitory effect on the non-pathogenic unidentified fungus for now is worthy of note. Since aerial parts are as potent as the whole plant, the weed need not be uprooted. This would allow the growth of shoots from axillary buds, thus increasing the availability of raw materials instead of relying solely on regeneration from the seed. Ikhatua et al. 2013. Thank you. Assessment of some plants on Gambia spoilage organism. Study involved the preliminary screening of some common weeds, Promolina odorata, Mimosa pudica, Philanthus amarus, and Euphorbia hecta, and the plant Azadirata indica on possible biocontrol sources of mycelial growth on the pathogen of fruit spoilage. There were no significant differences in the mycelial growth on amended and unamended media. However, it was observed that the fungus grew more luxuriantly on the amended media. Contribution to knowledge. The screened plant species cannot control Botryoidiploida pathogen of Gambia albida fruit. The plants may be used to enhance the growth of the fungus if the need arises. Ikhatua et al. 2014. Other collaborative studies include Seed treatments and growing media on Ikhatua Kufura, the walnut. Studies were in twofold: seed size and pre-sowing treatments on seed germination and seedling growth. The findings show that the superiority of clarified seeds on growth parameters over other treatments, as well as the large seeds in establishment of good seedlings, will be useful in carrying out improvement in planting of the species and other indigenous forest species. Iyayi and Ikhatua, 2004. Seed treatments and growing media on seedling growth. Studies show that for P-conifera growers, amended topsoil is good medium for growth. Stratification of seeds is as effective in germination as the conservative overnight soaking of seeds. Iyayi, Ikhatua, and Kano, 2005. Uses of plants in treatment of skin diseases. The study was aimed at identifying some medicinal plants used in treating skin diseases by healers in 9 rural communities of Ovia Northeast local government area. 41 plant species from 29 families were identified and leaves were mostly used. Contribution to knowledge. Studies are made available the information on how the remedies from the plants are prepared, as well as documentation of local and common names of the plants for easy communication. Study also reaffirms the presence of incredible medicinal plants in our forests, which could be exploited for manufacture of orthodox medicines. Iyayi and Ikhatua, 2008. Feed for animals. The need to reduce the cost of formulating concentrate diets for feed ingredients, especially oil cakes, which are major sources of protein and energy in the diets, has led to the identification of forage with high nutritive value for replacement. And these included the use of mulberry leaves as animal feed. Studies show that mulberry leaves can support good feed intake, digestibility, and satisfactory weight gain in rabbits, and thus reduce reliance on the cost of expensive concentrate diets. MycOlogy, Ikhatua, and Iyayi, 2005. Use of melon seed husk. The crude fiber and neutral detergent fiber contents of alkali-treated husk were lower than those of untreated husk. Studies show that slight reduction in crude fiber and cell wall fraction of treated melon seed husk did not translate to improvement in their fermentation. Thus, the hot water and alkaline treatments did not enhance the nutritive value of melon seed husk. MycOlogy, Ikhatua, Iyayi, and Ikhatua, 2009. Acknowledgements. I thank God Almighty for sustaining my life through these years and blessing the works of my hands. I also appreciate my Vice Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Salami, and her team for giving me the opportunity to deliver this lecture. My immense thanks to my parents, late Pa Albert Isuman Aperi and Mama Catherine Oare Aperi, who sacrificed all to ensure I am educated. Gentlemen and ladies, my mother is here present live. Will she stand up for the lecture? Thank you, Mama. I thank my principal, late Reverend Sister Mary Raphael of OSL, who took special interest in my education and even paid my first term fees for the HSC in India College. To all my teachers at the primary, secondary, and higher schools, I say I am grateful for the educational and moral values inculcated in me, which serve as foundation and springboard to higher academic achievements. I am highly indebted to all my lecturers at the undergraduate and postgraduate training respectively, at the departments of Botany, UI, Crop Protection, ABU, Microbiology, UNIBED. I especially thank Dr. Fajala, Professor Lashakura, and Dr. Dunfa who laid the foundation for my interest in plant pathology and mycology. Great tributes to my supervisors, Professors Erinle Olaruwaju, Ebenebe, Anyaro, and Ikhatua. I say thank you to Mr. Women. I say thank you for your tutelage in the laboratory handling of fungal cultures. I must not fail to acknowledge the contributions of Dr. Shatter and members of G47 Lab at the University of North Wales, Bangor, to my academic work and career during my 6 months World Bank assisted program made possible by Professor Iyayi. I'm grateful to Professor Eboge for giving me a sound footing on microscopy and encouragement during the PhD program. To my priests, past and present, and parishioners of St. Albert Catholic Church, other priests here present, medical personnel and well-wishers, I remain grateful for your love, care, and prayer for my family, especially during the great race when the dry bones rose again. I especially acknowledge the roles of late Reverend Fathers Waifo, Izemeke, Oweme, and Donda. To all our family friends, too numerous to list their names, lest it becomes another lecture. I say thank you for being there for me and family in good and hard times. However, of mention, our Professor and Professor Mrs. Garaba, Professor and Lady Swige, Professor and Mrs. Udomu, Professor and Mrs. Bewele, Professor and Professor Mrs. Gabata, Professor and Mrs. Irabo, Emeritus Professor and Barrister Mrs. Bob Musafe, all of the Zaria group. Others are Mrs. and Mrs. Imokume, Emeritus Professor Mrs. Onokurai, Emeritus Professor and Professor Mrs. Ufuegu, Professor Mrs. Dejimao, Dr. and Mrs. Kuku, Professor and Barrister Mrs. Udera, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Dede, Professor and Dr. Mrs. Ufwani, Professor and Professor Mrs. Moye, Professor and Lady Omobai, Professor and Lady Gunu, Dr. and Professor Mrs. Ukoro, Dr. and Professor Mrs. Edoyi, Professor and Mrs. Alakija, Mrs. Gladys Obogodo, Sir and Barrister Nyamu, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Ubogu, Mr. and Mrs. Anira, Mrs. Otike Odibe, Professor Bamikole and family, Professor and Mrs. Okoje, Professor and Dr. Mrs. Zeko, Mr. and Mrs. Igeni, and Mr. and Mrs. Kuchman. I'm grateful to Emeritus Professor Nokurai, who employed me into the academic mainstream of the University of Benin, thus giving me the platform to grow and deliver. My thanks to Professor Anao, in whose tenure I was appointed acting head of the department, and subsequently in the tenure of Emeritus Professor Wanzi. I thank Emeritus Professor Oshodi, in whose tenure I was promoted professor, and Professor Rumensen, in whose tenure my promotion date was effectively corrected. To all my numerous colleagues at the College of Agrics, ABU, UDSS, the Faculty of Agriculture, Department of Forestry, Resources and Wildlife Management, I say thank you for your encouragement, support, and even the criticisms that have helped me to grow. I appreciate all my deans, past and present, professors, retired and serving, lecturers, technical and administrative staff, and all its colleagues. To Right Honorable Professor Wamai Julius Ikhatua, Oscar T, my friend and husband for 25 and 22 years respectively. I owe a lot of gratitude for academic support and encouragement all these years. You copied my notes at the end of the Ali Must Go strike when I took ill and could not immediately return to school. Followed me around the UI campus to collect my herbarium specimens, washed class bread, and spread my workplace in Univen. Together with our children, you will encourage me to finally break the tape, especially during the trying moments of denied promotion. To my wonderful children, Barrister Mrs. Anne Iyayi, Dr. Jude Ikhatua, Dr. Pastor Ikhatua, Engineer Joaquin Ikhatua, I say thank you for cooperating with us as parents in your upbringing, thus making it less stressful and conducive for my academic work. To my son and daughter-in-law, Iyayi, Doris, Ikhatua, Fanny, Ikhatua, my in-laws and all for whom we have responsibility, especially members of the A11 crew. Your presence in the family has been peaceful and I thank you all for your support. I'm especially grateful to the larger Ikhatua family. What can I say about my siblings and their families? Stock of the Albert Isuma area, ably led by Eugene, the chairman and HOF. Emmanuel, Charles, Danny, Thomas, Avery, Isaac, and Tessie, you have all been great and supportive. I ask God to continue to bind us together in love. I appreciate members of the larger academic family for their love and support. I appreciate all my students who were more or less field assistants at executing some of the researches, as well as Mr. and Mrs. Nicholas Ubadia and Mr. Joshua Osehimime, who helped in the typing and preparation of this document. I appreciate all my neighbors for good neighborliness all the years. To all my doctors and health personnel who managed my health and ensured I was fit enough to be academically productive, I say thank you. I am grateful to all my brothers and sisters of the knights and ladies of St. Mulumba, the old girls of Olele, members of CWO, and the Esan daughters and wives of St. Albert Catholic Church for gracing this occasion. Finally, for all who have come to listen to this lecture, I say thank you and ask God to richly reward you and lead you back to the future of yours. Recommendation. In order to achieve maximum benefits from our forest, the management of diseases becomes important to avoid reduction of quality of produce and wiping out of entire plant species, which may affect the landscape of the environment. Potential control measures, chemical and biocontrol sources can be developed. It is recommended that in view of a shift from chemical to biocontrol due to hazards of chemicals, the spices that are already part of our diet be developed to serve as biofungicides to take care of the spoilage fungi. Aside from control, some natural materials could be used to enhance production of some fungi if the need arises. Conclusion. Madam Vice Chancellor, for about the last 45 minutes, I have been able to really elucidate my various research studies to ensuring that the forest is well. Studies generally increase the scope of diseases affecting the non-timber species within the forest, and especially in the agroforestry system. They also provide a checklist for fungi associated with the various diseases and the importance and prevalence of Polytotrichum sporoides as pathogen of fruits and vegetative parts of most species. Thank you for listening.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, once I leave here, I'm going to test that of Bonosu. So you all get ready. Those of you who want Omono, I will take the lead. And we were watching from here, and you don't sit down here. I have never seen a man this emotional. Prof, you are a wonderful husband. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if we listen to her, all the zim that professors used to confuse us, I'm sure you will know. But I'm going to make it very simple, so that when you go home, you eat ogbono, you eat bush mango, and all the dogoe. Okay? So the lecturer focused on the disease that affects the non-timber forest products. Of course, she used pawpaw, mango, bush mango, African pear, and local spices. She has also provided us with a checklist of fungi that are associated with diseases. She has confirmed the importance and prevalence of fungi as the pathogen of fruits and vegetative parts of most species. She has told us that fungi is also responsible for most spoilage of fruits in our society. Professor Ikhatua also highlighted natural materials that can serve as potential biocontrol sources. These natural materials, could also be used to enhance the growth of the identified fungi if the need arises. She has collaborated with other scientists to study non-timber forest species as feed for animals, ethnomedicine, seed treatment for improving field production, and the role of women in conservation of these species. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am sure you know the lecturer is truly a doctor of plants, and she has so delivered.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chancellor. As she proceeds to decorate the lecturer, please immediate family members come majestically and proudly on stage to support Mama, the professor herself. As they do that, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, starting from the family, it's my pleasure to welcome once again the darling husband, the Right Honorable Professor U.J. Ikhatua, the children, Barrister Mrs. Iyayi, Madam Vice Chancellor has said that after the inaugural lecture, the lecturer will dance for us. And so we welcome Barrister Mrs. Iyayi with her husband, Mr. Iyayi, Dr. Ohi Jude Ikhatua, Dr. Pascal Ikhatua, Engineer Monitie Joachim Ikhatua. We welcome very specially the former Vice Chancellor of Cambridge University, Professor Richard Anao. Please put your hands together. We also welcome very specially Senator and Mrs. Roland Obier. Welcome. We welcome very specially also our dear neighbor, Right Honorable Chevalier, Engineer Doctor, and Dave Ujama. Welcome, sir. Former President, Society of Engineers, welcome. We welcome also Professor O.J. Babayemi of the University of Ibadan. Welcome. Welcome Reverend Father Dr. A. Adebole. Welcome Reverend Father Joseph Okochi, All Saints Minor Seminary and Pop. Welcome Reverend Father Ignatius Obo. Reverend Father Nicholas Mutuashe, you're welcome. Welcome Mr. Eugene Akere, head of the Akere family. Welcome brothers and sisters of Knights of St. Mulumba, Nigeria. Welcome old girls of Our Lady of Lords from the school Uroli. We also welcome very specially Professor Emeritus and Professor Mrs. T.O.K. Audu. Welcome sir and ma'am. Welcome Professor Emeritus and Mrs. Raymond Elino. Welcome sir and ma'am. Welcome Professor Emeritus Bob Usaze. Welcome Professor Emeritus Reginald Ofoeku. Welcome sir. We welcome Professor David Izeko, immediate past DBC academic. Welcome sir. Welcome Professor Rachel Gareba Mama. Welcome. We welcome Venerable Professor Mon Wandiani. Welcome Mr. C.I. Eyato, former acting registrar. We also welcome Professor K.O. Ilewari, member of the Governing Council of our university. We welcome Professor Dan Inobakaye. We welcome Professor Nosa Egafona. We welcome Professor A.M. Orekbata. We welcome Professor M.O. Omwen Berali, University Orator. We welcome Professor Jennifer Ibegi. We welcome Professor Bamidele Sani from Benson Idahosa University. We welcome Professor Michael Martin, former CMDU PTH. We also welcome Professor and Mrs. Obiora. Welcome Professor Bamidele, who has been running around ensuring the success of this program. Professor Bamidele is former Dean, Faculty of Pathology. You're most welcome. Madam Vice Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that's how we conclude the 270th inaugural lecture series of the great University of Benin. I am told to announce venue of reception after this lecture. All guests, except students, will be entertained at the residence of Professor Mrs. Ikhatua at A11. Please listen. Patience, please listen. Professor and Mrs. Ikhatua's residence at A11 Senior Staff Quarters, Uniben here in the World Campus, and our darling students are to proceed to Archbishop Ebu Hall at St. Albert's Catholic Church for their own refreshment. I'm sure you love that. Thank you very much. That's how we conclude this lecture as we invite McDonald to signal the Uniben anthem and then the national anthem, second stanza. I welcome very special Senior Deputy Professor, Dr. Dominic H.